Bonjour, I'm Karen.
And I'm Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Living a French Life.
Today on Living a French Life, once again, joining us remotely from Southwest Florida, it's Karen.
Hi, honey.
Working hard, I see.
Oh, yeah. I am working hard here.
There are worse places to be.
I'm enjoying the beach today. Yep, it's all good.
So I assume the weather is still pretty terrific compared to the presque printemps, almost spring here in France.
Spring's coming soon. Spring's coming soon to France. I am looking forward to coming home.
Well, no worries. We've got a lot planned for today's episode. I'm going to take people around the back of the house and show them how we're going to be doing with the septic system. And I also have the clips that we recorded when you were talking about how you were going to plan out the garden. Since we're in the back, I thought that made a lot of sense.
What he said.
So, like and subscribe, and let's go see what's going on back behind the house. Putting in the Fosse Septique is going to be a really big deal. We're going to go around to the side of the house over here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. This piece of rebar marks the corner of our property, and you run up along the side of the house here. And as you can see, we do not have a ton of land. This fence runs pretty much along the border of our property and going down to the corner right there. You can see in the overhead view that our property is oddly shaped and really not all that large. And that means we're going to have to be careful not only with the planning for our garden, but we're also going to have to be very careful with the planning for our septic drain. As we come around the house, we see the epic kitchen sink right there with its lovely little drain hole. And right about here is the exterior wall, where just inside this is where we're going to put most of the plumbing and electrical chases that are going to run up to the second floor. So that means the outlet is going to be down here. It's going to go into a pipe which is going to feed into a 1 meter cube septic tank, which is then going to go into a 1 meter cube filter tank, which is then going to go through a pipe out along the border of our property, out into the fields down there below the farm. What's going to come out of our septic tank is going to be, well, not potable water. You wouldn't want to drink it, but it is suitable for runoff into agricultural lands. We are getting this very special filter that is made out of coconut fiber. So what comes out is going to actually be safe water.
So our garden is small and an awkward shape here in the behind the house. The property line is up near that hoop house, and it goes along this ridge here. And so our thought is to create a hedgerow where I can put some of my favorite specimens, maybe a crepe myrtle tree, something that's going to look beautiful in all seasons. I love lilacs because I love the flowers, the smell, and to crystallize them for my various cookies and cakes in the spring. We could intersperse some blackthorn, so we'll have sloes come the frost for our sloe gin and our confitures. So I think a hedgerow is going to be what we're going to do and where we're going to start. Most architectural designers suggest you start from the house and work your way out. I think I'm going to work from my focal point and design my hedgerow. I want to show you how we're going to enter into the garden. We're going to create a couple of stone steps because there's a bit of a slope here. And our focal point will be diagonally, because when you create a diagonal axis, what you do is you wind up creating the illusion of a larger garden. And so our focal point will be right straight back. And that will be the hedgerow that'll help screen some of the things we don't want to see. and also delineate sort of a gentle curve that'll allow your eye to flow across the hedgerow and then to this existing wall, which we're going to take apart and create anew. We'll still dry stack the stone, but we're going to get rid of some of the unsightly stuff, which is just sort of rubble. And when we dig in the septic system, we'll be able to have more stone, and then we can create maybe a little bit tidier wall. I have a lot of desires that I want to fit into this small garden space. I want to create a potager or a kitchen garden. I want there to be some outdoor dining space. I want to have some entertaining space. I want a quiet nook for reading and relaxing. I want to have a place for my dye kitchen. I have a lot of plants that I want to grow, both flowers, herbs, vegetables, and fruits. I want to create some sort of a shade spot, so in the summertime we have a place, a little respite. I want to redo the wall and make sure we don't disconnect ourselves from the other gardens. It's very communal here at Glandines. So our garden borders another garden, borders another garden. And it's within those spaces that conversation happens, where we engage with our neighbors and we learn new things. And so I want to create some private spaces, but I also want to make sure we keep it open and inviting and make sure we don't obscure the view. Planning ahead is going to be really important, especially with a garden, because what you plant today is going to look very different 3 years from now. So you have to really think about the overall look that you're trying to achieve. Be mindful about what the plant needs so you can provide enough sun, you can provide enough drainage, or you can provide enough shade. We're going to have to figure out other ways to grow plants besides just in raised beds or rows. We're going to think container pots. We're going to think about what we can put up on the balcony and grow along there. We're going to have to think about maybe vertical gardening. We'll have to think of our hardscapes. Where do we want to put the raspberries and how do we want to trellis them? All of these things will happen, and so while I have the ideas now I've got to put them down onto paper, work them out, think about the specific plants, and then share my design and figure out how to implement it here in the garden. I will share some of my thoughts coming up in a future voila, and you'll see the garden design that I've got planned.
Sounds like you have some big plans for that little space behind the house. A lot different than in Florida, huh?
Gardening's a very different animal here in Florida. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I don't like the snakes. You gotta watch out for those. And it's tough to grow certain vegetables and things. You have to really make sure to keep up on the water and of course the salt, depending how close you are to the ocean. So it's not my favorite state for gardening. I'm looking forward to getting home and seeing what condition my little tomato plants are in. Are they still alive, honey? All right, well, as long as you keep the pets good, then the rest is gravy.
So as the weather starts warming up, we'll be doing some more of the exciting work. Rumor has it that the Clay de Terrain is going to be put in very shortly. Isn't that exciting, Karen? Karen?
I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention. Don't mind me.
And then eventually Karen will come back to France. Right, honey?
What?
Karen?
What? What? I'm shelling. It's almost sunset. No, I didn't do anything on plumbing today. No. But you want to see my shells? Hold on. Let's see if I can. Look. I had some luck here today. It was time to change out my mask, and it turned out to be a perfect impromptu carrier for my collection of shells.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Living a French Life. Join us next time when maybe we see some of those Clay de Terrain go in. But don't tell Karen. She's obviously not paying attention. So like and subscribe. Click the little bell icon. And
until next time, à tout à l'heure.
It's a pretty clean morning. I take a walk outside.
This is a test to see where I am on the camera.
Honey, did I mention I'm really gonna want a bathroom when I get home? I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm a little bit spoiled. I get them into the camera. Put them down here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, wait. How do I turn this thing around? Can I turn this thing around? Oh, it doesn't seem happy. Oop, I think I just took a photo.